September 1943. A German recovery team rushes through a Belgian field under the pale moonlight. Before them lies a prize so rare it feels unreal. An American P-47 Thunderbolt, nearly intact, its massive radial engine still gleaming in the dark. The men know exactly what this means. They've just captured the aircraft that's been haunting the skies of Europe, the machine that turned the Luftwaffe's confidence into terror. Engines rumble, trucks idle nearby, floodlights cut through the mist. German mechanics work feverishly, shouting orders, photographing every bolt and rivet. The P-47 had belly-landed after its pilot bailed out, its fuselage buried in soft soil. Battered, but miraculously intact. For German intelligence, this was a dream come true. For months, the Luftwaffe had been desperate to get their hands on one, to understand how this monstrous American fighter defied everything they thought they knew about aviation. By dawn, the Thunderbolt was loaded onto transport trucks and rolling toward Rechlin, the Luftwaffe's secret testing facility north of Berlin, where captured Allied aircraft were taken apart and studied piece by piece. At Rechlin, one man would lead the investigation, Oberingenieur Klaus Weber, one of Germany's top engine designers. He had worked on the legendary Daimler-Benz 601 that powered the Bf-109 and the BMW 801 that roared inside the FW-190. Weber was confident, proud of German engineering excellence. But when he first saw the P-47's heart, the Pratt and Whitney R-2800 Double Wasp, his confidence began to crack. It was enormous. 18 cylinders arranged in 2 rows, a displacement of nearly 46 liters. Weighing over 2,000 pounds, it looked more like the engine of a tank than a fighter plane. Yet somehow, it worked flawlessly. Weber's team began their autopsy. Every screw, every wire, every gasket was carefully removed, photographed, and catalogued. And as the pieces came apart, so did their pride. The first shock came when they reached the supercharger. It wasn't just a single-stage unit, like those on German engines. It was a 2-stage supercharger with an intercooler, allowing the R-2800 to breathe power even at 30,000 feet. This system was brilliantly complex, with automatic gear ratios that adjusted for altitude, ensuring consistent performance at any height. The Germans had tried to build something similar, and failed. Too unreliable, too intricate. But here it was, mass-produced, battle-tested, and running smoothly across hundreds of combat squadrons. Then came the second revelation. When they examined the internal components, Weber realized this wasn't just an engine. It was a triumph of industrial power. The connecting rods were made from steel alloys both stronger and lighter than anything Germany could forge. The pistons had built-in cooling galleries, a level of engineering detail rarely seen outside experimental labs. The valves used heat-resistant metals that could survive temperatures that would melt German equivalents. And it wasn't just the materials. It was the precision. Every surface gleamed with near-perfect machining. Tolerances were tighter than anything German factories could consistently achieve under wartime conditions. To replicate this, Weber realized, Germany would need new alloys, new machinery, and, most impossible of all, time. As the engineers worked, silence fell over the lab. The numbers didn't lie. The R-2800 wasn't just powerful. It was a symbol of American industry. While the BMW 801 produced about 1,700 horsepower, the R-2800 delivered 2,000 horsepower, reliably, again and again, across thousands of aircraft. To match it, Germany would need 2 years of uninterrupted development, and even then, mass production at such precision was beyond reach. And as one young engineer, Friedrich, quietly pointed out, even if they could build an equivalent engine, could they build enough of them? That question hung in the air like smoke. Pratt and Whitney was producing over 2,000 R2800 engines every month. Germany's entire aircraft engine output, for all models combined, barely reached 3,000. The truth was devastating. America's strength wasn't just in design, it was in mass production. The R2800 was proof that the United States could wage war not just with skill, but with overwhelming quantity. For every German fighter destroyed, 10 new Thunderbolts could take its place. Weber's final report said it plainly. This engine is not merely a machine. It is an expression of industrial might. Weber was summoned to Berlin to present his findings to General Erhard Milch, head of Luftwaffe aircraft production. The general listened in silence as Weber described the R2800's precision, its materials, its production scale. Finally, Milch asked the question that haunted every German engineer. Can we build something like it? Weber paused. Yes, given unlimited resources and time, but to match American production? He shook his head. Impossible. The room fell silent. Milch dismissed him, but the realization lingered. Germany wasn't just losing in the air. It was losing the industrial war. The captured P-47 was eventually repaired and test-flown at Rechlin. German ace Heinrich Baer, with over 200 aerial victories, took the controls. When he returned, his report was simple, almost poetic. This aircraft represents a philosophy we cannot match. The Americans have built a fighter that relies not on lightness or agility, but on raw power, and they can build thousands of them. The P-47 dove faster than any German plane. At high altitude, it kept its strength while theirs gasped for air. It could take hits, burn, and still bring its pilot home. As the war dragged on, Germany continued to design brilliant machines: the Me-262 jet, the V-2 rocket. Technological marvels, but too few, too late. The P-47, on the other hand, became a symbol of industrial determination, proof that in modern war, innovation was nothing without the power to mass produce it. In the quiet halls of Rechlin, Klaus Weber wrote one final note in his journal. The Americans have achieved something extraordinary. They have built not only an engine, but an empire of machines.